Maine has a rich history, and one town is preserving a part of it before it's largely forgotten.
The town of Castine is trying to preserve its African American history. News Center Maine's Jordan Sartor-Francis takes us there to show just how community leaders are doing so.
The Castine Historical Society is making an effort to revive its African American history, and in doing so is preserving a history that is literally being grown over.
His grave had been overgrown by a lilac bush, which anyone who knows lilacs, that happens a lot. So we had that trimmed back by the cemetery committee, and we encouraged them to have the gravestone clean.
Castine Historical Society Director Lisa Lutz is leading the restoration effort for these burial places, like the one of Andrew Walker, one of Castine's earliest black residents. She is supported by a new generation who had no previous idea of the town's 19th century African American population.
When I was growing up, I didn't know that African or African American people ever lived here. It wasn't part of what we talked about. It wasn't part of our education at school.
Mary Jackson, another one of Castine's earliest black residents, is becoming a popular historical figure in town. Georgia Zildjian, a Castine Historical Society volunteer, is helping share her story.
The more I learned about her, the more incredible I found she was, and the more I wanted her story to be told.
Jackson, Walker, and other African Americans who once lived in Castine are receiving a present-day notoriety for their impact within the story of Castine's history.
Their stories and their presence in our town are just as important as the rest of the town's history.
Maintaining the legacy of these Mainer African Americans will be a priority in the town of Castine as the future comes.
We feel a special affinity to them. There are no descendants left, and so we're making sure that their graves are taken care of and cleaned and looking good.
Castine Historical Society leaders are planning a walking tour to display the town's African American history on October 14th. In Castine, Jordan Sartor-Francis, News Center Maine.